I think the plan that we had and sticking to it, he wasn't able to, do what he wanted to do.
My timing was off a little bit. Bigs up to Joseph. He did a great job avoiding a lot of my punches.
Wilder had no idea. He lost 120, 108. He lost every round. And he's there in front of the referee at the end, putting his hand up, saying, "I've won the fight." This guy's never beaten an elite heavyweight.
Hey Ringsiders, what is going on? This is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, and welcome back to Ringside Stories. Feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. Thanks in advance for your support. December 23, 2023 is a historic night for New Zealand's own Joseph Parker, who defeated Deontay Wilder by a wide unanimous point decision. The future looks bright for the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world. There are some interesting things to talk about, so let's get into 5 takeaways from Wilder versus Parker. Number 1. Monkey Wrench. Well, Joseph Parker completely destroyed hopes for an immediate Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder showdown. But what struck me the most was Deontay Wilder's body language. When it was clear to everyone who was going to win Wilder versus Parker, should it go onto the scorecards. After the fight with Joseph Parker, Wilder threw his arms in the air trying to convince a minority, probably only himself, that he had actually won the fight. Now we all know Deontay Wilder is a bit of a delusional character, which in a positive way translates into self-belief, and with his lack of technique coming late into the game, that is what Deontay Wilder needed to overcome the odds. However, delusion is still delusion.
Deontay, when that final bell rang, it seemed like you felt you did enough to get the win, did you?
I did feel like I had the upper hand, but things happen.
The Bronze Bomber's attitude in the post-fight interview left a lot to be desired, knowing that AJ Wilder fight for March 2024 all of a sudden doesn't seem so relevant any longer, at least for now. Being thoroughly outclassed, without any excuses this time, and having been out the ring in between his last 3 fights at 38 years old, does Deontay Wilder even still have anything left to give the sport of boxing?
I'm a warrior, so I'll be back soon, and if not, then it's been an enjoyment, it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate everybody for the love and the support that they've been giving me for over the years.
Those are telling signs. As Wilder knows, the head is not meant to be hit, and boxing is a dangerous sport, meaning if your head is not in it, you should be making your way out. Number 2, Wilder thoroughly exposed. Much can be said about Deontay Wilder's mindset, whether he is still in boxing or not. In the Joseph Parker fight, Deontay Wilder seemed to just not be there. We know from past fights and throughout Deontay Wilder's career, when he quote-unquote stepped up in competition, that Wilder can be outboxed, can give away rounds, knowing that his right straight can bail him out of jail. Well, this ain't November 2019 when Wilder fought an older and even slower Luis Ortiz, who's never had the pedigree, amateur nor pro, that Joseph Parker has. In the opening rounds, Deontay Wilder was moving around herky-jerky style, barely throwing any jabs to establish any sort of dominance, nor utilizing his height advantage. Joseph Parker didn't even do so much himself, but he showed controlled aggression, disguising his attack with subtlety, pressing the action, and landing the more quality and eye-catching shots, which helped him bank the early rounds. As the fight progressed, Joseph Parker gave Deontay Wilder plenty to think about. He was unable to trade shots on the inside with his shorter opponent. And when the Kiwi exploded his combinations up close, Wilder had nothing. 0 defense and almost 0 offense. Throughout the fight, Wilder was hesitant, his timing was off, and wasn't able to close the distance with his elite right straight. Only thing was left was the imminent threat of Wilder's right hand that made him this quote-unquote notorious puncher that Team Wilder and Wilder fanatics have Wilder made out to be over the last few years. Now, because of the imminent threat Deontay Wilder possesses, he always has a puncher's chance. And there was a sense, for me personally at least, Wilder could land maybe one clean shot, maybe even a lucky punch.
I came out here to see that whistling backhand of Deontay Wilder, and I wanted to see it. I didn't bet and all. You need to be changing the trajectory of the punch. But it was too little too late. He was jabbing and coming out of his stance and floaty on his feet. Stand your ground at some stage. You have to lose in every round. You have to plant your feet.
Well, that didn't happen, and so Deontay Wilder got thoroughly exposed. We all know he doesn't have the best technique, but against Joseph Parker, he didn't seem to have any proper game plan. He wasn't in his right mind, he wasn't ferocious, and he didn't get any good advice from his corner, which was very disappointing from Wilder's trainer, Malik Scott. Wilder attempted to sharpshoot from the outside but couldn't get any real offense off. He boxed a legit former world champion who has been in a world heavyweight unification fight and has a bag of experience fighting top-level competition throughout the years. And honestly, although Deontay Wilder has been in the pro boxing game longer than Joseph Parker and has had more fights under his belt than Parker, other than the Tyson Fury fights, which really were cherry-picked gone wrong, Deontay Wilder never fought a fellow world champion, and that was telling.
Big ups to Joseph. He did a great job avoiding a lot of my punches. We make no excuses tonight, you know what I mean?
So yes, Joseph Parker was an underdog going in, yet no, I don't think this result is an upset at all. Number 3, discipline. All credit to Team Parker, who prepared their man well, continuing to build his momentum in what was Joseph Parker's 4th fight in 2023, coming off the devastating loss to Joe Joyce in 2022.
This time last year, Joseph was at his lowest ebb. We'd not long lost to Joe Joyce. But it's testament to the courage, the heart, the mental strength, the skill that this man has. He didn't put his head down. He dug in deeper, trained harder, backed himself, and it can show you what anyone can do in this sport. This time last year, no one gave us a chance. Now he's just beaten Deontay Wilder in 12 rounds, beat him every single round of it. That's what this man is. So it's a testament to him, and it's a sign to any young fighter, any fighter. It's not over. You can always come back.
Pairing up with former middleweight world champion Andy Lee is now starting to produce fruits, as the win against the former WBC king Deontay Wilder is certainly Joseph Parker's best win of his pro career so far, even though this is an older version of Wilder in the twilight of his career. But let's not take anything away from Joseph Parker and his team, as Parker put in a phenomenal performance via total domination. Team Parker put together a masterful game plan, which Joseph Parker was able to masterfully execute, stayed disciplined, and completely shut down Deontay Wilder in the process. With feints, jabs, triple jabs, level changing, right hand, and like a sprinter, Parker exploded in spots, making Wilder hesitant, neutralizing Wilder's right hand, and catching Wilder with that left hook and overhand right countless times. Round 8 was Joseph Parker's biggest round, hurting the Bronze Bomber on multiple occasions, where it looked like Parker was on the verge of stopping Wilder. From round 9 onwards, it was Joseph Parker who was pushing the action, even though you could argue Wilder won round 10, maybe round 11. The mindset was clear. Deontay Wilder was hoping to land something significant. However, it was Joseph Parker who was actually looking for the knockout. Even in the 12th round, when it became clear for Team Wilder he needed a knockout to win, which Malik Scott was not telling his man, being far behind on the scorecards, it was Joseph Parker who landed the more eye-catching and higher quality shots. Number 4, proper perspective. You can only connect the dots looking back. With Joseph Parker delivering a lopsided win over Deontay Wilder, this heavyweight era is starting to shape up. Wilder's second step up against the former world champion showed once again the Bronze Bomber falling short big time. As stated in many episodes in the past, Deontay Wilder's resume is non-existent, and this loss to Joseph Parker puts Wilder's 5-year reign as a WBC world champion in a bit of a different light. He never unified, even though he's been in the game longer than Joseph Parker, guys like Anthony Joshua and many of the current heavyweights in the top 10. When Anthony Joshua pitched a shutout against this same Joseph Parker back in 2018, many were critical over the then unified heavyweight champion of the world's performance, and although AJ versus Parker wasn't an exciting fight, it was a unification bout, something Wilder has always promised, yet has to deliver still. And irrespective of the fashion in which Joshua beat Parker, he got a win over the Kiwi, and then undefeated world champion, may I add. Circling back to Wilder versus Parker, Joseph Parker isn't as bad a fighter as people may have thought he is at this stage of his career. And with boxing mind Andy Lee in Parker's corner, Joseph Parker may just be on the brink of building his second chapter of his pro career, with a potential world title shot on the horizon. Number 5. Next for Joseph Parker. The win over Deontay Wilder is Joseph Parker's best win in his pro career so far, and at only 31 years of age, the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world may still have much to offer to boxing than many would have expected. I mean, Parker dominated the former world champion, and regardless of the politics due to Wilder's inactivity, Wilder was still highly ranked. Wilder was ranked number 1 in the WBC and WBA and ranked number 9 in the WBO rankings. Who should Joseph Parker fight next? Fighting his friend Tyson Fury isn't going to happen, and assuming Fury versus Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight crown proceeds and an immediate rematch follows, I don't think Joseph Parker will be able to challenge Alexander Usyk should the Ukrainian unified world champion defy the odds, quote unquote, and defeat the Gypsy King. Maybe Parker can really pursue his world title aspirations by taking the WBO route, eventually fighting for the title that he won originally in 2016. What about you, Ringsiders? Who do you think Joseph Parker should fight next? And what did you make of Wilder versus Parker? Leave your comments in the comment section below and join the conversation. If you enjoy content like this, I make content regarding boxing through mini documentaries, backstories, and much more. So if you enjoy that type of content, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. Thanks so much for your support in advance, and welcome to the channel. Now, if you've done that already, you're amazing. We already know that you are the true undisputed world champion. Till next time, Ringsiders, this is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, with Ringside Stories. Thanks for watching, and have a legendary day.